Hello, welcome to Ask a Union Student. We're so excited to be back for another week. We have missed you all for sure. I'm Brianne Engelhart. I'm the campus visit coordinator here at Union College in Lincoln, Nebraska. That means I handle any of the needs while our guests here are on campus. Unfortunately, we don't have any of our guests on campus, so we moved to some virtual events. This is one of them, getting to ask some of my Union students that work up in my office. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. Annabelle, if you want to start.
Hi, my name is Annabelle Harper. I'm a sophomore at Union College. I'm an elementary ed major, and I'm really excited to be able to talk with you guys today.
I'll go next. My name is Wesley Rodriguez. I am a senior international relations major, and just looking forward to being able to share a little bit about Union.
Hey guys, my name is Shelby Youngama. I am a freshman business administration student here. I'm from Orlando, Florida. And I'm also excited to be able to talk to you guys today.
Awesome. Well, you'll notice that we have a few familiar faces. Annabelle and Wesley joined us last week, and now we get to join with Shelby, and we're happy to have her here. So you guys are entering week number 3 of online classes. How's it going? Have you learned any new tricks? Anything going super well for you?
For me, I'm like a big organization nerd kind of. So I like set up a document where I can keep track of my assignments and like whether they're in progress or not started or done, figure out when they're due. Because I was having a hard time, like now that I'm in a different time zone, knowing when things are actually due. So that helps a lot. It's definitely made a big difference. So.
Well, those of you watching, if you want to join us in the live chat, ask us any of the questions you have. We'll be happy to answer them. Let us know where you're viewing from. We love to know where we have guests from, and just ask all your questions. These guys are ready to answer them. So last week we heard from Annabelle and Wesley. So if you want to go back and watch that video at the beginning, you can hear their stories. So Shelby, I'm going to ask you, why did you decide to come to Union? What's kind of your Union story?
Yeah, so originally, like I never really considered Union. I'm from Florida, so it's a long way away. It was not really something I was familiar with. But I ended up going to a college fair my senior year of high school with a friend. She was interested in either Southern or Union, so I just went to both of those tables with her, and I was like, this place seems kind of cool. Like I was impressed with a lot of the material they gave me. It was just completely new to me. So I was like, yeah, this seems like kind of a cool place. But at that point, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life or where I wanted to go to school. So I just finished high school. I had no idea still. So I ended up taking 2 years off from school and like worked full time for a couple of years. And that's when I decided I wanted to do business. I also know a lot of Union alum now. I didn't at the time, but then I got to know them those years after. And a lot of people like would tell me, they have a great business program. That's where I went. And they said it would probably be a pretty good fit for me. So it's like, yeah, maybe I'll check it out and hear more about this place. So I ended up coming to visit last spring. And just loved the experience visiting. Got to sit down with some of the faculty and talk with all the enrollment staff. I just really loved that experience. By the time I got back from there, I basically decided to apply. So I was just really impressed with like how friendly everybody was and how the faculty really like care about your success and want to get to know you as a person. So that's why I'm here.
That's awesome. I remember when you came to preview days, and I was so excited when you did decide to apply and that you were going to come to Union. And now I get to work with you, and that's super awesome. So glad you're here.
She actually stayed in my room when she was at
Union. Did. Yeah. Annabelle was my host.
Yeah, it was really funny because she came here and I was like, whoa, you look really familiar.
Well, good job. You were definitely a friendly host then. So we would normally have preview days. We have 5 throughout the year. Sometimes there's 4. And during that time, you guys get to give tours of campus. And that's one of our most favorite times. We kind of take over the entire campus. You will see prospective students and ambassadors everywhere. During that time, you get to show off some of your favorite areas of campus. So why don't you guys just tell me, what are some of your favorite areas to tour people? What do you like to show them and tell them about Union?
I personally love to show people campus ministries just because I'm there all the time. So I love to show them, what people do there and what campus ministries is about and how it's just a hangout place where people can come and have fun and get to know each other, and it's open to everybody. And people who come usually get really interested in events, and it's just a great outlet for them to meet new people and to get involved on campus.
I'll go ahead. So my favorite place to show people on campus would either, it would actually have to be the humanities division. Granted, that's my division, so I'm a little biased, but at the same time, I like working there, and it's just a super chill place to hang out. If you want some hot drinks, there is some too. Professors usually have their doors open, and sometimes they'll like just come out and hang out. Dr. Robinson, who's our division chair, for Christmas got like one of those like foam throwing axe things, and we set up in the division. So sometimes people come up and hang out and throw some axes at a target. So it just kind of goes to show you how much fun it can be just to hang out there. And and that's besides all the great programs and different majors that you could look into there as well.
So what is humanities? Why don't you share a little bit about that? And so that would go in hand with what kind of majors and programs are there?
Okay, so humanities envelops the English, communications, international relations, um, and then I know Professor Hadley also teaches things like script writing and things like that. We have history there as well with Dr. Tyner, public speaking, writing for general audiences, classes like those. So if you're a student, some of your general education requirements will be humanities classes, and then also out of the humanities division, we're in charge of Adventist College Abroad. So if you ever want to take a semester or a year abroad, or even just a summer like I did, there are different Adventist colleges around the world where you can pick up a minor or even a major if you want a double major in a different language. So that just kind of is everything that humanities sort of is the umbrella for.
Wes, where did you study for ACA?
I spent 6 weeks, so a summer in France, in Cologne. So that was
That's
really
so
nice.
cool.
That's an awesome experience, huh?
Oh, it was absolutely incredible. Highly recommend it to anybody. I wish I could have stayed more, like in hindsight. I wish I would have done a year instead of just a summer, but it was still great.
I feel like when you travel abroad, it's like kind of the scary, I don't know if I want to spend that long. And then when you don't choose to spend that long, you're always like, oh, I wish I would have.
I know there was so much more that I wish I could have done, but I still got to do a whole lot because they packed a lot of things in those 6 weeks.
That's awesome.
Cool.
All right, Shelby, what do you enjoy showing people on our tours?
Yeah, so I have nothing to do with the nursing program. I'm not medical at all, but I love to show people the Sim Center. It's super cool. That's one of the really cool things about our nursing program on campus is that we have the simulation center where a lot of the students can get to practice their skills on these sims that are like dummies, but they're really advanced. They can like breathe and they have pulses and they react when you give them medicine and stuff. So it's a safe way to start to learn some of these things. But it's always so fun to take students through there and like see their reaction when they see them blink for the first time. It's kind of creepy, but it's also super cool. And I just think it's really great that we have that on campus as a resource for our nursing students to learn and get some of those practical hands-on skills.
Yeah, I think the Sim Center is a lot of people's favorite place to see on campus, especially a lot of parents. They love seeing that simulation too. All right, so Wes, you've been an RA for quite a few years. Can you tell me what that is, what you do, and kind of your experience with that in dorm life?
All right, so RA stands for Residence Assistant. So basically, that would mean that I worked under the deans in order to help students who live in the dorm, like facilitate any questions or needs that they might have. My first year as a sophomore, I was the RA on third floor. My second year was the RA on seventh floor, and that's for Prescott, one of our men's dorms. And my responsibilities would be like cleaning the hall. So I'd vacuum like once every 2 days. I'd take out the trash every few days. I'd have hall worship once a week. Just go around, make sure the guys knew that there was a worship opportunity uh, that they could get to. Usually I would do it around check. So that way most people, it'd be at the end of the day. So it wouldn't really interfere with anything else that they might have. Every night I would go in and I would do checks. So that means like going to each individual room, making sure all the freshmen, especially, are in time for their curfew. If somebody's not in, I would call them or text them, see like, hey, are you okay? Just wondering, we missed you a check. Just sort of checking up on them to see where they are. And then just I would also work office hours for the deans, so that way if somebody needed to come down, you'd say, hey, there's something broken in my room, or hey, I need help from a dean about this. I could help them out. So basically, just anything that needed to be done for the deans or for dorm life, that would kind of fall under my responsibility. So whenever there was sort of like hall parties or dorm parties, or whenever, especially in the guys' dorm, we would have like sports tournaments. We try to do it once every month or so. We'd have like a dodgeball tournament or a basketball tournament. And so, the RA's job is to, not only encourage the students to show up, but also to help run the program. So that's just a little bit of what it would be like to be an RA over at Union.
Awesome. Well, we actually got our first question of asking just like to know what campus life is from a student's point of view. And that definitely kind of helped answer that question as well. Annabelle, I wanted you to tell us a little bit about what you've been doing with ASB now that we're all not on campus together. So that kind of ties into what you do during a school year when we are together.
So yes, ASB stands for Associated Student Body, and it's a group of representatives that the student body votes in that represents the students. And it has been a difficult journey transitioning from on-campus events to online events. But I will say that my team and myself have been doing a really good job of trying to keep the students engaged. We have been doing events here and there. We have weekly video challenges. So we pose a challenge each week to students, and they can take up the challenge or they don't. And if you do take up the challenge, then by the end of the week, we vote on it and you could win $100. So that's always fun. And then we have Wednesday night trivia. So that's also fun. Students come on and they do it on The Office, or we did it on Vines, and then this coming week it's going to be on Marvel. So I'm really excited. It's super fun. I love doing it with the students because they all come on and they're super excited. They're like competing against each other. It's really funny. And then actually what we have coming up is we're starting a live Q&A on Instagram with each of our ASB members. So students can ask questions about about the ASB members themselves, or about events that we have, or if they have a question for their professor, or they have frustrations, whatever it is. It's just an open, kind of just like a town hall on the internet kind of thing. So we're going to be hosting that every Tuesday and Thursday. And then we're going to be starting some Netflix parties where we host movies and students can join in and watch with us. So we are trying to do our best to keep the students engaged, but this is a difficult time and I cannot do it without my team. My team has done an amazing job. They've been supporting me. They've been helping me coming up with ideas. So one thing about Union is, at least this year, and from what I've experienced, is we are strong together and we are a family and we support each other. And it's shown in my ASB team, it's shown in my friends and the events that we did on campus. People come out to events and they have fun and they love spending time together because it's like a family on campus. So it's a special place, and Union has that special atmosphere that we put into all of our different, groups on campus, such as ASB.
That's awesome. So Shelby, you came to Union, and within I think like a week or two, I saw you up on stage leading a praise team or playing guitar, and I don't know if you were singing or not. How did you get involved so quickly? Is that normal for students to be able to get involved that quickly, or is everyone kind of accepted into the Union family like that?
I would say for sure, yes. So for me specifically, part of how I got connected so quickly was the people I knew. So my former youth pastor went to college with some of the pastors at the College View Church. So kind of made those introductions beforehand. But I also was just intentional at the beginning of made a point to introduce myself to people on campus ministries teams, let them know like what I do, what that I was interested in helping out. Um, and yeah, they're always looking in campus ministries, they're always looking for people, ways to get them involved, and new people to add to the team. So we're happy to get you plugged in wherever is a good fit for your talents. Yeah, so right now um, I work part-time at the church, doing like admin and worship kind of tasks, and then playing at different events on campus. So yeah, the spiritual atmosphere here is just really great because there's all kinds of events that you can attend if you interested in that. But there's also, it's not uncommon to just see like students praying together on campus or having like a spiritual discussion with a professor. We actually have a program called Heart Scan where you can sign up to meet one-on-one with a faculty or pastor or professor, and kind of just talk about life, talk about your spiritual life, talk about whatever's going on, whatever's bothering you. So I think that's just a great opportunity. Yeah, and so I love the spiritual atmosphere. It's one of the things that really drew me to Union. So yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Well, Maya asked us a question, and I actually recognize her name from Preview Days, so you guys might have met her as well during some of the Preview Days. She wants to know, when do you get your roommates' contact information to kind of coordinate with each other about what each of you is bringing? So from your experience, when did that happen with you? How did the roommate selection go for you? Things like that.
I will say, oh, Wesley, go take it away.
Okay, well, I know, especially freshman year, I was really nervous about like getting a roommate that I could get along with. Thankfully, I had a friend who, like a friend who was also going to Union that I knew a little bit about, but we still basically connected through the school. We both submitted like a sort of form, or like a survey might be a better way of putting it, of things that we would be looking for in a roommate, like our own personal habits, like sleeping habits, like if we're early birds or night owls and all that kind of thing. So we would submit those, and then the deans like pair you up with people who have similar answers, similar tastes. They send me an email saying, hey, would you like, my roommate's name was DJ. It's like, would you like DJ to be a roommate? He's like this, he's like this. And DJ got a similar one about me. And then we were able to exchange contact information there. I think we had the choice of whether it was like connecting through Facebook or just straight like with phone numbers. And then from there on out, this was probably maybe a month or two before classes began. So after we had already been accepted and already decided we're going to go to Union, that's when we started talking. So we figured out what we would need for the room. He brought the fridge, I brought the microwave, things like that.
The important things, right?
Exactly. We discussed if there were any allergies or things that we need to be aware of. So for the most part, I hear that a lot of people have had like a very similar experience to mine, where people are just open to figuring out what needs to be done and what needs to be, I guess, discussed in order to make sure that you get along with your roommate.
Yeah, and I know that right now our deans are actually dealing with the current students getting to decide whether they want to keep their same rooms, same roommates, if they want to kind of change that up. So after all of that is settled, that's more when you as new students will be learning what your room assignments are and probably your roommate contact information after that as well. Do either of you have anything else to add?
I mean, Go ahead, take it away.
Okay. Thanks, Sue. I think the specific question was when. Um, I just looked back at my text, and my first text with my roommate for this year was in June. So that's when I found out. I did the same thing as Wes, like fill out the form and get matched with a roommate. We just got an email like to let us know what your names were, kind of some basic information, and then we took it from there. So.
Yeah, I know that for me, I got my information I would say about 2 months before school, kind of also.
Mm-hmm.
And then I reached out to my roommate. Of course, they asked me, they're like, here, we paired you up with this person. After you fill out the sheet, it's like your roommate preference sheet. You say, kind of like what Wesley said, it's a very similar experience. You say, night and day. Are you neat? Are you messy? Do you like loud music? What type of music do you like? Things like that, so they can really pair you up with somebody. Because the goal is the deans really put a lot of effort into this, and they take time because they want you to love your first roommate. They want you to get along with your roommate. They want you to have a good first experience. While it doesn't always work out, they really try their hardest, and a lot of the times it does work out, and students become best friends with their roommates, and they get along with their roommates, and it's a great relationship that you create, especially early on. Like Shelby was saying, 2 months before school is kind of when you get your roommate information, and then you figure out, okay, what kind of your pet peeves, who's bringing the microwave, who's bringing the fridge, kind of the important details. So things like that are figured out a couple months before school.
Great. We had another question kind of outlining what is living in the dorm like, and I believe you guys covered that fairly well as there is a link higher up in the chat that will give you a little video of a glimpse of the Union residence halls. And so jumping around, we've got a few questions that have come in. So I want you guys to talk a little bit about what it's like doing some work at Union. So kind of our work study program, which we just have jobs here on campus, but your experience with your jobs that you've had here on campus. I know Wes has talked a little bit about being an RA, and that was one of his jobs. You guys are all Union ambassadors, and that's one of your jobs. So tell me a little bit more about that.
All right, I can start. So I've had a great experience at every job that I've had on campus. This past semester, I actually had 4 at the same time. I was an ambassador. I'm still an ambassador. I work in the enrollment office as well. So that's like a more clerical type work, typing, putting in applications into our campus software, running the front desk, answering phones, things like that. And I also tutor for stats. And I work part-time at the church, like I mentioned. So I just have had it. They're all so different. They all kind of different parts of my personality. But I just have had a great experience with all of them. Like everyone is really good at like being flexible. And they always let you know, your classes come first. Like, of course, we want you to come in and do your best at your job, but classes do come first. So if there's something that comes up, that everyone's very understanding. Yeah, and I've always had a great experience with working on campus, being able to balance that.
So how do you go about getting jobs on campus, and what's kind of that process? If Wes or Annabelle want to speak to that.
I know that when I first came to Union, I didn't really understand how to do that either, but Union made it super easy for me because they'll send out an email to you, and they'll give you information. There's this website online that you can go to, and it has a place where you can fill out an application, and then it has like a drop box where you can just check all of the positions that you're interested in, and then it sends that to the bosses on campus for those positions, and then they reach out to you and they let you know, oh, the position's been filled, or oh, we're interested in having you as an employee. So they'll let you know. But it's also a really good tool because although you'll see the options that you like, you'll also, when you get on campus, you'll see that there's so many other options that weren't on there that you can also partake in, such as, I know Ambassador was on there, but I didn't realize it was there until I came on campus, and I loved it. So it's a great resource to get you connected early on, but when you get on campus, then you can see, oh, I didn't really enjoy this, but I love this. Let me see if I can get a job there. And it's a lot more fun when you get to know the people in departments or, you know, locations on campus that are like, I love that, I want to work there. And then you can create friends and create an awesome work environment that you want to go to work. So that's the goal. That's the goal. All of the jobs on campus are a lot of fun, but they usually have a survey that you can fill out. And then on campus, when you get here, then you can see more options that we have.
Also, it could be as simple as just like your friends telling you, oh, hey, there's a position open at like my job. My freshman year, I worked over at Advent Source, which is a little like printing place behind the guys' dorm. And because I had a friend who worked there, so he's like, hey, I'm working there. You should come with. And I said, okay. And then the deans reached out sophomore year about being an RA. I liked it, so I stayed on until junior year. And then senior year, I wanted to do something a little bit different. And whenever I asked around, I heard the humanities division was hiring. So it could be as simple as, you putting the word out among like your circle, your connections, and them reaching out to you, or you just walking into any place, be like, hey, I want to know if you guys have any positions opening for like now or later or something like that. So it could be as simple as that.
All right, thank you for answering that question. I have a question here asking about transfer students. So I know each of you might not be a transfer student, but if you have friends that you know of kind of the story. So wondering kind of what the atmosphere is like for new transfer students. So do you have friends that were easily integrated, accepted? We do have a special transfer student day for orientation, just to kind of get everyone acquainted, but I wanted to open it up for you guys to answer that question, what it's like to be a transfer student on Union's campus.
I think one of the very special things about having transfer students is because they know what it's like to live life on another campus. And then they come here and they value Union so much more because they chose to come here. You know, whatever their decision was going to the other college, they came here and they're like, this place is special. I want to transfer here. I want to come here. A lot of my transfer friends are super passionate about whatever they get involved in. They're like, I love this and I'm going to put everything into this because they see what's special about Union, and Union welcomes them in. Union welcomes everybody in, and its doors are wide open, and they love to have incoming new students or transfer students. They love to have all types of students, and it shows because the students come here and they want to come here and they get involved on campus and they love it.
Yeah, I will say I know a couple of people for sure who transferred, but about like being accepted or integrated, I would say I think for sure, because I don't even know who's a transfer and who's not. Like, I don't know who's been here all 4 or 3 or however many years and who hasn't, because everybody just, once you're here, you're part of the family, so it doesn't really matter.
That's true.
Absolutely, I definitely agree with that. So if you guys want to tell me a little bit about what your teachers are like, we have a question here just kind of asking, what are your teachers like? So go ahead and share with me.
I'll go ahead. So teachers are all great at Union. Like I haven't had a problem with any of the teachers that I've taken classes from. I know that might not be the case for everybody, but thankfully, like I've had a great experience with my teachers. Um, Not only taking classes from them, but working for them as well has also been great. They're super responsive. I was actually in a class about half an hour before this live stream started, and I had a question about a project that I needed to do. So I sent a quick text to my teacher. Most teachers, especially if they hadn't already put on their syllabus, they'll be like, yeah, just text me if you have any questions or something like that. And I got off the phone with Dr. McNeil, and she was walking me through an assignment, and it was super helpful. So very thankful for that, because sometimes email does work, and I'm sure all professors and teachers will respond to email, but just to know that you have a quicker, more direct way of contacting them as well is also really nice. And I know that it's not just because we're all doing like online classes and going to school remotely, because I've had the same issues on campus where I just go, oh, okay, well, let me call this teacher or professor real quick, because like I know that they'll be able to respond and help.
Yeah, and it's true that even our faculty will do that for even our prospective students who might just have questions about their area of academic interest, whether they're going to study here at Union or they will choose to study somewhere else. Our faculty are always open to helping those students, and that philosophy is not just for our prospective students, that's carryover from how they treat our current students here now. So when you sign up to visit Union College, we put a one-on-one meeting with you and a faculty advisor so that you can just have that FaceTime, because we do have a 10-to-1 student ratio. You're not just another number here. So you guys want to share some more about that?
I would say one of the really big things that I've noticed about our professors is they're each super passionate about their subject. And whether or not I enjoy the subject or not, you can definitely tell that they're passionate about it, because they always come in to class and they're excited, literally excited to talk about what, the subject is, whether it's science, whether it's history, whether it's political science. They're super passionate about it. And Union does a really good job of having staff that are passionate about what they do, whether it's cafeteria workers, whether it's our professors. Every single staff member on campus is super passionate about what they do. And you can tell by their work and by the way that they talk to you and the way they interact with you and the way they want to engage with you. So that's one thing I've definitely noticed about our professors.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. And also, like, since we have small class sizes, it's easy to get help and easy to get like more individualized attention. And another thing that I've for sure noticed is just how all the professors just care about your success. Like I noticed that from day one, just they want to make sure that you really understand it. And none of the professors are hard just for the sake of being hard. They don't make things unnecessarily hard to give you trick questions just to try and trip you up. Like they really care about you learning and you understanding the material, because they want you to succeed.
Great. So I have a question here from someone who has lived in the Vegas desert pretty much their whole life. Gets up to 120 there. So tell me a little bit about Nebraska's weather and how you acclimated to that, because I know that you guys are not from Nebraska, and I think every single one of you comes from probably a warmer state. So tell me a little bit about if the weather lived up to your expectations or what it was like.
I will say that one of the things that a lot of my friends incoming, when I was a freshman at Union, they always told me Union's weather is bipolar. It's super bipolar. They always told me that. And I was like, no, it's not. It's like super chill here. It's very bipolar in the most positive way. I mean that in the most positive way, because you can experience almost every single season in like 1 year or 1 semester. And it's crazy. It's really crazy, honestly. But that's one thing I honestly love about Lincoln, because it's kind of unexpected. I personally love the unexpected. So when it's one day like 70 degrees and then the next day it's 40, I'm like, well, I guess it's 40 now. And you gotta, it keeps you on your toes, because you gotta make sure you check the weather every morning. It's not predictable. It's very unpredictable, but it wasn't a super hard transition for me. I'm from Georgia and I didn't necessarily die with the weather. I will say that apparently my freshman year, the winter storm was like the worst it's been in like 10 years. And I came out of it, and people had told me that, but they told me that this year. And I was like, really? I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, but I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what normal winter was. So I thought it was fun personally to experience different seasons. It wasn't super hard to acclimate. They keep the buildings really warm. The dorms are really warm. They make sure you have heaters in your room. So you're going to be okay if you're not from a cold place.
Yes. Same for me. I'm from Florida, so it really couldn't be any more different. Like it's hot and humid here, and it's cold, and it's sometimes humid, sometimes dry. You really don't know what you're going to get. But yeah, it really couldn't be more different. But I expected to struggle more to acclimate to the weather than I did. Like it wasn't that bad for me. Even when it started to get super cold, I guess your blood thickens up pretty quick because I just go outside in like a jacket and like 17-degree weather. Like, this is fine. Like, I'm okay.
20 degrees, it's fine.
Yeah, and it's a small campus, so you never have to walk like for a really long time out in the cold. You
That's
can
true.
just run over to the next building and you're good.
Yeah, like Shelby was saying, it's a small campus. So it's very like close knit, and not only the people but the buildings as well. So if you have to run from like from your dorm to class or dorm to the cafeteria, you're not going to be exposed outside very long if you don't like the cold. Like I for one do not like the cold. I'm from Texas. Currently right now I'm in New Mexico, and yesterday it was like a nice like 60 degrees. Today it's snowing. So I'm over here like, wow, I can't get rid of the snow. But at the same time, Nebraska, it is all over the place sometimes. I remember, I think it was my freshman or sophomore year, we had a snowstorm in April, and we literally had to like shut down for a day at least because it was crazy. But everything is well equipped. So whether it's super cold outside, the dorms, they have really good heating and everything like that. Whenever it does heat up, then they switch to AC or you adjust it in your room. um, you really adjust. So whether you're going to Holmes Lake to walk on the frozen lake or you're going to go there to hammock, you can adapt, and it's pretty great either way.
Yeah, that's kind of something I wanted to mention too, is you can be going out in a season and going hammocking and it's nice and sunny, and then you can go sledding later on. So you get to experience a wide range. So we had a question here about computer science, and I don't know that any of you ever did any stint in computer science as a major. So I would love to have the guest who asked us about computer science sign up on our website to virtually visit us, and I will definitely put you in touch with our computer science faculty member, and they can speak to you one-on-one about that, tell you a little bit about the program and help you out with that. So if you go to ucollege.edu/visit, you can sign up for a virtual visit there. And that's for anyone joining us, watching. We would love to have you sign up for a virtual visit as well as watching these kind of episodes, because that way you get to experience everything that Union does have to offer, and we'll put you in touch with our enrollment counselors, our faculty members, and some of our life coaches. So I wanted to also have then, Shelby, if you want to tell me a little bit about, is there career counseling, since I'm kind of talking about the Life Coaches Career Center, and is it helpful? So tell me about that.
Yes, for sure. We do have a career center. It's in our student center building on the bottom floor. Um, and I think it's super helpful. You can get help with your resume there. You can practice your interview skills. They'll host like a mock interview. So pretend that you're interviewing for a job basically to get to practice that. You can get career counseling. They do like personality, career aptitude type assessments, and or you can just talk to somebody, like try and figure out what you're interested in, what you're passionate about, what your skills are, maybe where that might point you in terms of a major if you're not sure what you're wanting to do. If you're thinking about changing your major, it can help you with things like that. And that department also does host a job fair every fall where you have the opportunity to go around and see different booths for people who are hiring, or if you're looking for an internship during the summer, and you can sign up right there to do an interview. And a lot of people get jobs through that. Every spring also we'll have a professional clothing drive. So yeah, those are just a few of the things. And also that program is also being combined with our Student Success Center, and that's expanding this coming fall. So really excited about that. We'll have more life coaches and more career type coaching, and just a lot more resources. So that's really exciting. It's definitely something that I would encourage anybody to take advantage of. They're coming here in the fall.
Do Annabelle, Wesley, anyone have something to add? Did you cover it?
I'll just go ahead and say it's pretty easily accessible, all the different things. So whether you need help with class or need help with just future after school, there's always going to be some sort of resource for you, whether it's going to be within an actual like established thing like the career center, or just like faculty and friends who are a little more ahead of you. So you're always going to find helpful no matter where you look.
Yeah, I do want to add the Career Center and kind of just Union in general does a really good job of they're there for you while you're in your academic career and in your future actual professional career. They are there to help you throughout that entire process. They want you to succeed academically, and they will have tons of resources on campus for you to succeed. And then for your professional career, they are helping you from freshman year on to senior year, after senior year if you stay. They help you find internships. They, like Shelby said, do mock interviews. They really want to make sure you succeed and you feel ready to jump into a profession. So Union does a really good job of making sure that the students feel prepared academically and professionally in their careers.
Awesome. So we have a question about the food on campus. Just kind of speak to that, including the vegan options that we do have. So how's the food, guys?
Ooh, I want to speak on that. So recently I became gluten-free. It was not by choice, but recently I did. And one of my biggest concerns was, what am I going to eat? Because everything has gluten. More than we realize, everything is gluten, especially since we are, we only serve vegetarian food. The vegetarian meat has a ton of gluten. So I'm like, what am I going to eat? But I reached out to one of the cafeteria workers and she told me, she said, let me know if you want something specific. I will do my very best to provide meals for you. I will do my very best to provide, a substitute for you. And they've done an amazing job. She reaches out to me personally and is like, hey, are you going to stay and eat for lunch? Cause she's real with us. She's like, we don't always stay here for lunch. We don't always have time for lunch. She's like, are you going to stay for lunch? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, cool. I'll get you a plate or I'll get you some food, because she cares, and she cares that I'm fed. And like I said before, all of the staff members on campus are super passionate about what they do, and they love to connect with students. And that was one of the ways that she did with me. And I learned along the way that they had so many gluten-free options. They had pizza, they had other substitutes. And I was like, well, I didn't know these things, but I did because she told me. So she really helped me. They are there to help you. They want you to be fed. They want you to grow healthy. So they will let you know. I mean, they're there for your every need. If you're like, hey, I'm a vegan, but I only usually eat dinner, they'll make sure that they have a vegan option for you at dinner, or a gluten-free option for you at breakfast, or whatever the case may be. They're there to help you in whatever your health needs.
And to add to that too, our vegan option is typically there, I think, at every single meal. I always see some sort of vegan option for sure. So if you have other allergies or just preferences, doing like Annabelle said and speaking up to them and just letting them know they're here to work for you, and they will definitely do their best to make sure that you have what you need. Along the lines of that, also, how often do you make meals yourself rather than eat in the cafeteria, so in the dorm? And how difficult is that to do food prep, saving food in the dorm fridges, your experience with that? Do any of you guys make your own food in the dorm?
I do
I
only.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do pretty rarely. A lot of times if I had early class or early work, I would eat breakfast in my room. But usually I eat dinner and lunch at the caf, unless, going out with friends or something. But yeah, I don't generally make a ton of food past like ramen in my room. But I do know a lot of people will like do a big Saturday lunch down in the kitchen in the girls' dorm. That's super cool. But yeah, I haven't personally done that. We do have you have the availability to just use all the pots and pans and kitchen utensils there, as long as you clean up after yourself, things like that. And yeah, I also have not stored my food much in the big fridge that's for everyone. It mostly just keep it in my room, but they do have that available as well. If you need to like freeze something, that's available, and it's really nice to have that. Yeah.
All right. we got asked about any upgrades planned for the women's dorm in the near future. So do you guys want to talk about the upgrades that we've had, and I'll touch base after that.
Sure. So this past summer, they had Maranatha come in and they did a whole renovation of the 3rd and 4th floor of East, I believe. And the rooms are really nice. I unfortunately did not get to experience it. It's for actually the incoming freshmen. So you guys get to experience that if you come to Union. So you have that to look forward to. I know that they were planning on doing another Maranatha. I think they're trying to do it each summer until the entire dorm is renovated, or if they have it in their budget. I don't know about that. But I know that they were planning on doing it this summer. I don't know now about the COVID-19 crisis. I don't really know the status of that. But Union really is making an effort to make sure that the students are feeling heard, their voices. And one of the things that we talked about was the dorms. And they heard us and they're doing something about it. So I love that about Union, that they care and they're listening and they're helping renovate the dorms because they want you to have a place that you love, because it's going to be where you're living for 10 months out of the year. So they want you to love it. So they're trying their very best to renovate things and make sure that if your door is, broken or something in your room is broken, you reach out to the dean and they help you fix it really quick. They want you to have a nice place to live.
Yeah, and in that question, specifically asking about the shared bathrooms in Reese Hall. And I know that that's one of the questions we get a lot. We have shared bathrooms in Reese and then suite bathrooms in Prescott. So everyone will say which one they prefer. So we don't have, unfortunately, some of each in each dorm, because a lot of the ladies will think that they really want suite bathrooms, and then those who have had suite bathrooms before really don't want them, because then if all of you want to shower during the same time, you have nowhere else to go. And I mean, girls, if you're wanting to get ready during the day, it kind of throws a wrench in it to have.
That's a struggle.
Yes, for sure. So right now we're not switching up those bathrooms. We're just working on renovating the actual dorm rooms right now.
I will add that the community bathrooms in the girls' dorm, I know it's like a scary thought to do community bathrooms. You go from home to having your own bathroom to going to community bathrooms. We have janitors who do a really good job of cleaning the bathrooms and making sure that they're sanitized. And if you have any needs, like if you're missing toilet paper, paper towels, there's a phone number on the door that they're like, hey, just text us, let us know, because we are here for you. This is what we do. This is what we want to do. So it's a scary thought, but it's gonna be okay. And they do a really good job of keeping it clean. And a lot of the times it's kind of fun, to have a little shower party with your friends.
There are doors on the showers, okay?
Oh, that too, yeah.
Stalls, doors on the showers.
I know, but no.
All right. Wes, you might know a little bit more about this. Is there any policy on video games?
Any policy? Is that what you said?
Yes. Like, what's the policy on video games? Do you guys have gaming systems, or even ladies, if they have any gaming systems?
Okay, so we don't really have a policy against video games specifically. Like, I know there have been plenty of times where I've stayed up really late gaming with friends. I have a Nintendo Switch. My friends have Xboxes, PS4s. A lot of guys also bring their gaming PCs, and I remember my freshman year, almost the entire 5th floor had like a gaming PC. So if you ever wanted to play video games, you'd go up to 5th floor. That was like the thing. I guess the rule that applies to that is sort of like the general rule that applies to dorm life, in regards to just be respectful of the people that you share a space with, whether it's your roommates, your suite mates, or just the other guys in your hall. So let's say you're not really close with the guys in your hall and they all like to go to bed early, but here you are, staying up late playing video games and shouting at the top of your lungs or blasting your game or your music, then that might be a little bit of a problem. But for the most part, there's not really a policy. Nobody's gonna come in and tell you, hey, you can't play that game, or hey, like, you can't do this. Like, as long as you are cool with your roommate, you figure out that kind of stuff. You have friends over who want to play together, that's cool too. It's really just like the whole concept is be respectful of those around you. But other than that, you're free to do your own thing, play your own games, and you know, just have fun the way that you want to have fun. We do have Ethernet cables in the dorm, so for people who are worried that the Wi-Fi might not be too great, considering that you're in a dorm, so a whole bunch of other people are going to be using it. Ethernet cables connect to your systems, and that's, without fail, probably the most reliable form of internet. So it's definitely accessible for whatever you want to play.
Yeah, that's something when we had one of our ambassador meetings while we were on campus, I was kind of posing some of these questions to you guys. And I remember asking the question of how's the Wi-Fi? And how many people learn that there's Ethernet cables that you can just plug right into the wall and you won't have issues with your Wi-Fi at all. And it's fabulous. All right. So you guys share with me what's kind of your favorite places to study here on campus. Are you more of in your room studying? Do you study with your roommates? Where do you go? Do you go across the street to the mill? Kind of tell me your studying habits. Not all at once.
I don't know who wanted to go first.
I could start. There's a ton of places on campus to study. It just really depends on, for me, it depends on my mood. It depends on how much I need to focus. So the student center is a great place to study, but not if you really want to focus and get something done, because student center is where people hang out, and that's where we have Cooper's Corner, which is a place to get snacks. There's ping pong tables and a TV back there. So it's really, it's a great place if you're cool with talking to people and socializing while you study. But also there and in the library, they have private study rooms where you can check those out for a period of time. And that's a way to study and be less interrupted, or, have a place to work on a group project. They have, tables and a whiteboard in there if you need to work on something like that. You mentioned the mill. It's another great place to study. It's a nice coffee shop across the street. Also, the girls' dorm lobby is just a great place. They have lots of seating, booth seating, and big tables. And there's even a little fireplace over there with comfy chairs. Lots of power outlets for your laptops and places to spread out. So those are just a few of my favorite places.
I will definitely say that one of my favorite is actually in the library, but it's not one of the study rooms. It's called the writing studio. And I don't know what it is with that place, but when you close those doors, it's complete silence. I love it. It's those doors are soundproof. So I always go in there when I need to zone in, when I'm writing a paper or I need to study for a big test. I go in there and I just close the door. It's the whole world stops and I could just focus. And it's a great resource because the writing center is also a great place to help you write your paper. So it's a 2-in-1 place for me. I love it there.
So how do they help you write your paper? What is the writing studio? What services do they offer?
So the writing studio is, they created it recently within the past, I think it was last year they created it. I could be very wrong, but they created it for students who need help with writing. Hence the writing studio. What you do is you come when it's open. It's only open for a certain amount of hours during the evening. They usually get tutors. They usually get the TAs for a lot of the writing professors to come and help. And then you go in there and you say, hey, I have a paper to write about, I don't know, Western literature, and I don't know where to start. They could help you start. They could help you create an outline. They can help you if you're already past that. You're like, hey, so I'm really bad at grammar and I really can't see what my grammar is bad. Could you maybe read through my paper and help me with my grammar? They'll help you read through your paper with your grammar. They'll help you with your sentence structure. They're there to help you succeed. That is what they want. So you can go in there and ask for any type of help, citations, format, writing, getting your subjects, getting your topics, whatever it is, they're there to help you. And it's a great resource for anybody who needs help writing, who's in the process of writing, or who needs just revisions from their writing process.
Great. So as we draw to a close here, I just kind of want to ask you each one last question. We can start with Wes and go to Shelby and then Annabelle. Tell me, if I was a prospective Union student, why should I come to Union College? What would be your key point that you would want to tell me about why you love Union and why I should love it too?
Okay. Biggest reason why I love Union is probably the fact that I really made a family here, or was rather welcomed into a family here, and created like family groups of my own with my friends and everything. And the support that that provides you, whether you want to do well academically, whether you want to do extracurriculars, or just personally, nothing related to school, it's all there. You're always going to have that support system, whether it's from other students, faculty, and staff, or just the different programs that we have in place. All of that is like designed to help you succeed, and also to feel that familial support and love all the time while you're doing it. So that was a big reason why I not only came to Union but decided to stay.
Yeah, so you basically took my whole answer.
I thought so.
So I would say, yeah, pretty much the same. Like just the fact that it's a small campus, it's such a community, and you really can get to know everybody so quickly, and everyone is so friendly and welcoming. It really does feel like a family. Like our slogan is like experience the spirit. There really is something different about just the atmosphere and the spirit on campus. And I love it. It's just anywhere from, the residence hall atmosphere to spiritual life and academics and everything. Yeah, there's something different about it. And it's just something that I encourage you to come out and experience for yourself.
I think we all have very similar answers. That's what came to my head, but I will highlight something else. My biggest thing was the family atmosphere, and they already talked about that. But another thing that brought me to Union was the spiritual atmosphere, specifically the fact that everything on campus is like interwoven spiritually somehow, from the academics to the events to whatever happens on campus. There's some spiritual aspect to it, and I love it because everybody is on their own spiritual journey, and Union is there to help you and to support you and to be there for you. And Pastor Rich is our chaplain on campus, and his door is always open unless he's in a meeting, but his door is always open. And I'll like pop my head in and I'm like, hey, I have a question. And I'm like, I'm really sorry for taking your time. He said, oh no, I have tons of time for you. Any time for you in the world. He just loves talking to students about anything really, but about Jesus. And he loves to help you grow your spiritual, to grow in your spiritual journey. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to feel loved, most importantly by campus, but also most importantly by Jesus, because that's what we're here for. And that's a huge thing that brought me to Union, was the family atmosphere and the spiritual atmosphere. It's interwoven, and I love it.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me this week. I miss each of you. I hate having to get together this way and not seeing you in my office, but thank you for popping on here, answering some questions with me. Those of you watching with us, thank you for watching. We hope to see you next week. We're going to do this again next Monday. In the meantime, please sign up to visit us virtually. I will get you in touch with faculty, with enrollment. You will get to meet many people that are just going to help you experience that Union College family that these guys have all just talked about. So thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.